that you were able to make it, even though we do have to wear these darn masks a little longer. So, welcome to International Women's Day 2022. And by golly, we've survived. Yes, we have. We've made it through the last 2 years of interesting ups and downs and everything in between. So I just want to say applaud yourselves because you are survivors. So before we begin, I'm just going to go over a few simple little rules and etiquettes. So first off, should an emergency arise, we hope that that doesn't happen, but should it arise, we have an exit to your to my right or your left, depending on where you're sitting. And then, of course, towards the front where you came in, there's an exit there as well. So those are our emergency exits. We do have washrooms. And because we don't have men here, we get to use their washrooms. So we do have 2 washrooms. The facilities does ask that only one person enter at the time. So only one person in the washroom at the time. Maybe play knock knock before going in to make sure nobody's in there, so we're abiding by the rules. As well, we do ask again that you keep your masks on, unfortunately, unless you're having a sip of water or a candy, a mint, or a chocolate. Please do help yourself. There is hand sanitizer to clean your hands if you feel the need to. We did ask you to do that at the door. And we appreciate if you're wearing the masks that I made for you lovely ladies today. It is a gift. But if possible, if you could wear them even for 5 minutes so that we can take a group picture. Even though you're sitting at your seats, we would like to see a sea of pink in unison for all us lovely ladies here today. If there are no more masks that we made, there are some disposable ones that are pink that are very similar to what I have made. So if my staff can go around and hand them out, if somebody would like to exchange for a pink one, you're more than welcome. They are 94 masks, FFN94 masks that are like a 95 mask. So bathroom etiquettes, we're drinking water, so yes, we are going to have to get up, right, and go to the washroom. Please try to be as undestructive as possible for the speakers who are so gracious to be here today to present for us. So Janet, if you can take a picture of the sea of pink that we have before us, I would really appreciate it. We are going to be taking pictures throughout the event, as well as live video. So, Kaylin, if you can scan the floor and have everybody wave and say, "We are here." We are here. Yes, we are. So, today is International Women's Day. We deserve a day just for us, for what we go through. And I found this cup, of course, Poppy and Peonies, because they are our main sponsor. And it says Girl Power. And to me that says so much, because each and every one of you here today has got that girl power. Your mothers, your daughters, your friends, your grandmothers, and you've been through a lot, whether you're working, retired, just a stay-at-home mom. It's been, I'm not allowed to say that word, but it's been a heck of a year or two. And so the fact that we're able to do it here today in person means that we've done a really good job. So with that, I'm going to also announce that there are prizes to be drawn, many, and that's thanks to the community and the organizations. The decorations, we'll talk about that as well a little bit, because that's thanks to our team of the Friends of the Penetanguishene Public Library. Pat is here, my coordinator of events, and her assistant, Anne. She does an awesome job. She rocks my library, so I love her. And when you will get these special prizes towards the end, we will ask you to take a picture with your special prize with this little card. So just to let you know, that is sponsored by Poppies and Peonies. So, welcome. And this event today is brought to you by the Penetanguishene Public Library, the Midland Public Library, and the Tay Public Library. And as well, we had major sponsors that were involved. So Poppies and Peonies, can't stop mentioning her because she's fantastic, and I love her purses. And our friends of the Penetanguishene Public Library, of course. You'll find a lot of goodies in your swag bags. And they have fundraising partners along with a lot of the organizations that donated prizes today through Delta Gaming Vegas style machines and their in-hall bingos. So we just want to say thank you to all of them. We also had a gracious donation from the Rotary Club of Penetanguishene, so we also want to say thank you to them. So some of you, the first 50 that did register for the event, will receive swag bags. Congratulations, because they are pretty awesome. Everyone here will receive a prize, and a second prize, hopefully. So that's the nice thing about it. The swag bags, we will deliver them at the end of the session. So you do have to remain for the entire event in order to get your bags. The prizes we will deliver as we pull your names. So you'll be able to open and say, oh my gosh. I want to give thanks to my committee for helping put together this great event and hosting it. So I will name their names and I will have you applaud them afters. So Janet Ryan, Trish Hayes, who unfortunately couldn't be here she had an emergency, family emergency. Faith Sherville, who has to work. Connie Cabrera, Heather DeLong, who as well has to work. Kaylin Rourke, Jen Paquette, and of course, myself. So if you can congratulate my team, because they are We have a few members on Zoom, which we appreciate as well. We still have to keep offering that service. So for those that are on Zoom, you do have the option of keeping your videos on or off. Your microphones will be muted. If you do want to ask a question to a presenter, please make sure to raise your hand and we will arrange for that to take place. Those of you attending in person as well, if you wish to ask a question, just if you could lift your hand and the presenters will just approach you by asking for your question. Sorry, I'm just drawing a blank. So, I don't know what else to say. It's been so long since I've seen everybody. I think it's very important that we look at our theme, which is self-care isn't vanity, it's sanity. Man, have we reached that brink a couple times in the last couple of years. So, it is very, very much needed. We need to take care of ourselves in any shape or form. And our speakers are going to touch on that shortly, but there are so many things that we can do just to stay sane, to stay healthy, physically, mentally, whether it's, I gotta promote my library by reading a book, taking a bath, taking a walk. So we just really have to look after ourselves to be able to look after others. So very important. You want to eat right, stay hydrated, hence why we gave you water. The candy's not very healthy, but it's a perk. Next year we hope to have our full event with our meal. So please do look us up again. We'll talk about that at the end of the day. But just to make sure that everybody is staying healthy. Unfortunately, our first speaker was not able to join us today. She was not well. So we will do a little bit of shuffling of speakers. But before we do that, let's get excited. Let's do some draws. So if I could have my draw bucket, ladies.
Did everyone receive their ticket?
So did everyone get a blue ticket, a yellow ticket, and a red ticket? Yes? Yes. Okay. If you did not, we will provide you with one. Yes, Tony? Okay, so can we get a yellow one for Tony, please? And yes, I do know some of you by heart, so. Everybody else has got a ticket? Even our presenters? Oh, our presenters didn't get tickets? Oh. Hang on a second, we'll take care of you ladies. And for all of you on Zoom, your tickets are already in the bucket. We've already registered you for all the prizes. So we'll just take a couple seconds, make sure everybody's got their tickets, and then we'll start to draw. So ladies, you'll notice on your tables that there's a little plastic folder that tells you all the companies that were, all the organizations and local businesses that nicely donated for the prizes today, as well as the presenters that will be speaking. 5. 4, 8, 5. Congratulations. You all want to do one more? I love giving prizes. 4, 9, 1. 4, 9, 1. The last table there in the pink. Congratulations. Five, 2, 2. 5, 2, 2. Congratulations. Right here, Janet. Thank you. All right, so let's start meeting some of our speakers and see what they have to tell us about keeping our sanity. So Cindy Hastings, who's a counselor at Tiny Township, is an advocate for any causes, including environmental. And Cindy will discuss numerous roles that she has in our community. Cindy?
I'm a little nervous. I haven't been out in public for a while. So good afternoon. As I said, I'm very happy to be here with all of you real-life people, and happy to get on my Birkenstocks, which I usually wear for Zoom meetings. And very honored, actually, to speak at this Women's Day event. I will admit I was a little apprehensive when I was asked to speak because I'm not really sure I should be speaking to today's theme, self-care. During the last 7 years as a counselor, I haven't completely lost myself in the role and forgotten the importance of looking after myself. So I'd like to share some of these mistakes, but I really like to, for being honest today, what I really like to focus on are some of the positive experiences in the hope that more women will consider a leadership role in municipal politics. And we need more diversity on our councils. I believe women have a great deal to offer their communities and can provide a different perspective on the various issues that we deal with. And also it's an opportunity for a different kind of self-care that comes from the personal satisfaction you get when you use your passion, your experience, and your desire to learn to make a positive difference in your communities. So I'm going to be honest about my personal struggles as a counselor. There's no question, politics is hard. And in addition to the infinite number of topics you need to educate yourself on, there are difficult, sometimes unpopular decisions to make, angry residents, negative press, and many different inputs. And the pandemic has significantly amplified all these. And it's hard not to internalize these because as a woman and a mother, I'm programmed to try and make everyone around me happy. So my dad would often tell me, he was a former politician himself, it's the mantra, remind me of the mantra, you can't make everyone happy. And I've lost a lot of sleep, spent lots of hours stressing over decisions, been sucked into social media comments, and missed yoga classes, time off, and personal appointments. And that resulted in an unfortunate incident with some home hair color that didn't go so well, because I didn't go so Vincent. So this behavior is not a job requirement, and certainly not healthy. When I'm not looking after myself, I know I can't approach all the issues rationally and efficiently, and I'm not doing the best job I can for my residents. So another important lesson I've learned is to stay focused on the positives, and there are a lot of positives. So using my own personal experience and interests, I've been able actually to make be part of a lot of great initiatives. So as a serial volunteer myself, one of the things I'm very proud of is our municipality increased its commitment to volunteerism. We created a volunteer coordinator position, provided financial and in-kind support for local events, and through a Mayor's Charity Golf Tournament, which was resurrected in my last term, we've been able to raise over $310,000 to support 20 North Simcoe organizations over the last 7 years. And prior to joining council, I was the president of one of the local parks and rec associations. And for many years, these volunteer associations built and managed these parks, as they were not a priority of the municipality at the time. This wasn't sustainable, and so over the last few years, with the support of council, we've improved our outdoor spaces and added many recreational amenities. We've also upgraded our existing trails surfaces and trailheads, and we've also added new trails. And I'm very excited that in 2022 we have a couple of new trails coming with the help of some local volunteer organizations. And one of my passions, well, I'm not a farmer, but I'll confess I'm a little bit of a wannabe. So being on the board of EDCNS, Economic Development Corporation, or CIMCO, I've been able to work with the agricultural community and be part of their initiatives like the Farm Fresh Food Fest, and our council supported our very own amazing Tiny Farm Crawl that gave the public an opportunity to tour local farms. And by participating in delegations to the province and working with Southern Sound Environmental Association, we were able to obtain a grant for healthy soils equals healthy watershed. So it's an initiative that seeks to improve the water quality by improving the health of the soil. And our municipality is actually very environmentally focused, and we supported many initiatives during my 2 terms on council. Through the SSEA, again, and other volunteer groups, we've increased awareness of invasive species like Phragmites and helped with its removal. We work with the hunters and anglers to plant more trees in our parks. We've received grants to introduce pollinator gardens and have depaved old unused sports surfaces to create green spaces and community gardens. It's been a great experience for me not only to support these initiatives as a council member, but also to participate in all these events and work alongside the community members. I found this part of the position immensely rewarding and a chance to connect with all our wonderful volunteers. Councillors also have the opportunity to participate on various committees. This has been a great experience for me, and again, the chance to work with our very talented and passionate residents. Over the past 2 years, I've participated on many committees, maybe a few too many. Parks and Rec Association, Trails and Active Transportation, Committee of Adjustment, Mayor's Charity Golf Tournament, Sabotage Committee, Seniors Advisory Committee, Police Service Board, EDCNS Short-Term Rental Task Force, Simcoe County Council, and the Cultural Alliance in the Heart of Georgian Bay. And then some other subcommittees. Yes, my thought was maybe an intervention. So I don't have time to go into detail about all the committees, but perhaps I could just take one moment to highlight the Cultural Alliance. This has been a unique collaboration between Penetanguishene, Midland, Bosley First Nations, Tiny, and Tay. And it supports our creative community and also promotes culture resources for both our residents and our visitors. And I was very happy to be part of the creation of this joint committee, and I'm the current chair. And Sheriff Cunningham, who's speaking later today, is the vice chair and also participated in the creation of this committee. The group has undertaken a number of initiatives, such as the Creative Communities Cultural Conference, Inspirational People's Banner, Entrepreneur, Cultural Asset Map, and more. And we've all benefited greatly from bringing all these communities together and learning from each other. So lastly, another positive aspect of being on council is the opportunity to learn. Many discussions I've participated in have been well outside my previous professional experience. So I've taken advantage of the various courses and webinars, as well as attended industry conferences, participated in seminars, and most importantly, had the opportunity to network with colleagues from across the province. I've also enjoyed listening and learning from our staff resources and experts, and also we have a vast amount of knowledge within our own residents in Tiny. I will say though, there are some topics I never imagined I'd be learning and debating about in such detail. Short-term rentals, gypsy moss, sabotage, parking, and my all-time favorite, the placement of porta potties. So I'm sure there's a politician joke in there somewhere. So on that note, just thank you for listening. I hope by sharing some of these positive experiences, I might entice you or someone you know to consider putting your name forward for the upcoming election in the fall. We really do need more diversity on our councils and more women. And if anyone's interested, I'm happy, and I'm sure Cher would be too, to discuss it, and I can share my contact information. So again, thank you very much, and enjoy your day.
So you walked away so quickly. Did anybody have questions for Councillor Cindy? Anything at all? Anything? So one thing I guess I have to agree with you is the multitude of committees that we are on and the workload. It's very easy to say, oh, I'll take care of myself tomorrow, and then tomorrow, right? But you have to kind of take that deep breath and say, okay, today's my day. I gotta give myself a little break. So don't hesitate whether you're on council or anything else to do, try to give yourself a break. If any of you have questions? Nope, that's okay. Such a quiet crowd. Oh my goodness. They just want the prizes. So if my ladies are good to go, I'm going to pull some prizes here. They're all yellow, yes. I don't know what I do with my glasses, but anyway, that tends to happen, you know. You lose your glasses. All right, 5, 3, 2. Oh, those are my glasses. 5, 3, 2. Thank you. So yellow, 5, 3, 2. Congratulations. Oh, I can see now. All right, yellow, 4, 7, 7. Oh, there you go. Front and center. 4, 7, 7. Congratulations. 5, 1, 8. 5, 1, 8. Heather. Congratulations. One more. 5, 1, 0. 5, 1, 0. Oh. Thank you. Congratulations. Thank you, Cindy. We do have a little something for you. Janet will bring it over to you. So now we'll have Andrea Gillespie, who is, and I hope I said that right, your last name, sweetie? Gillespie. Is that how you say it? Gillespie. Oh, Gillespie. It's that French thing with me. She's a registered dietitian from Chigamik Community Health Center, which is in Midland. She's from Penetang and has been a dietitian for over 30 years, so she has lots of experience. I hope you're getting your questions ready for her. So in the past 10 years, she's been at the Chigamik Center helping people to eat well for their health, which is great for their well-being. She's a mom of 2 active teenagers and loves the outdoors. And today she will discuss with us the new Canada's Food Guide and some tips on how to eat well to achieve optimum health.
So, first of all, I'd like to thank Janet. She's been my contact and invited me so to your whole committee. Thank you.
Thank you.
And it's been fun connecting with you again, Janet. Janet and I have known each other forever.
48 years, Andrea. 48 years.
48 years. So I just want to welcome everybody. This is awesome. I am so excited to be here. And unfortunately, I'm not nervous, which is a bad thing for you because I've got a timer on. Because I could be here until supper, then we'll want to order pizza and continue talking, but I don't want to do that to the organizers. I do have a PowerPoint that I wanted to present. Oh, sorry. Anyway, I had a little brain fart this morning, and so I went to the office and printed it off so that you guys can make notes. Most importantly are some links. I wasn't sure how to present that to you because who the heck's going to remember www blah 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 blah, right? So it's all in there, and you can make some notes because you've got some pencils. So first of all, I have to do the Chigamik commercial. I'm here on behalf of Chigamik. I've been working there for a long time now. It's flown by. Chigamik is like a doctor's office. No offense to any doctors here, you're awesome. Because we are a community health center, so we're not just a doctor's office. So some of you may be rostered with us. You have your doctor, your nurse practitioner with us. But even better, we have a community health team that supports the clinicians. So what that means is we run programs for the community, and I'm part of the community health team. I'm also part of the clinicians team because I'm a dietitian, so I see people and help them figure out what they need to eat if they have a health condition and all that stuff. But more fun than that, if you go to our website, chigamik.ca, you can peruse our website, go to English or Francais, and then go to programs. And all the programs listed are free to all of you, okay? Not everybody can come and see me as a one-to-one for a dietitian, because by the government's doing, you have to be rostered with us, and you can't be rostered with more than one physician in Ontario, blah, blah, blah. There's all sorts of rules about that. But what we offer in terms of programs are free. So get on that site tonight when you're not doing anything, stop the dishes, everything's done, kids are sleeping. Get onto the website and check out our programs. We have Dance for Parkinson's, amazing program. I participate in that most Fridays. Rebecca Barnstaple, Dr. Rebecca Barnstaple, amazing local girl, does lots of research on Parkinson's and the positive effects of dance. Check it out if you know anybody. It's free. Pass it on to people all over the country. Another local girl, Renee Scruden, sorry. She's a physiotherapist. She runs all sorts of programs to help keep you fit, learn how to move in a healthy way. You can register for those programs, and you get an email reminder saying Renee's program, Choose to Move, starts in an hour, log in. I do a program called Heart Healthy Eating once a month, third Thursday of the month at 11 o'clock for an hour. You can log in and listen to me talk some more. So there's all sorts of stuff. Another local girl, Celeste Lalonde, runs Nia. She's a Nia teacher. Nia is like Tai Chi and yoga together. Awesome. So check it out. It's all free. It's all open to anybody. Register, join, spread the word, all that fun stuff. Okay, let's get going. So naturally, I had a whole bunch of stuff I wanted to talk to you guys about, but I only have 15 minutes, so let's get to it. Okay, so, So my one message that I want you to take home with you today, aside from all sorts of stuff I want you to take home, the message is get reliable sources, okay? Reliable resources is very, very important. Has anybody heard of a marketing message today about food? Yeah, no, yeah, there's one. I bet you all have, and you don't even realize it because you're being pummeled with all sorts of health information all day long, whether it's on commercials, on the radio, any Facebook post, Instagram, it's all there. So you need to just take one thing home with you tonight. Is the source reliable? Is what they're saying true? Is it evidence-based? Is it based on studies? So if I tell you that you should only eat so many milligrams of sodium, what's my resource? So Health Canada, Dietitians of Canada is where I get my education, where I get my statistics, where I get all that kind of stuff. So it's a reliable source. So please, when you're taking in information, ask yourself, where does that come from and where do they get the information to put that message out there for you, okay? All right, so basically what I'm going to talk about is Canada's Food Guide, Osteoporosis Canada, increased fiber, decreased sugar. So those are my 4 messages. I thought long and hard because there's so much stuff that you guys would have been interested in. So Canada's Food Guide. So for all food nerds in the world, or maybe in Canada, we were really excited when this came out. Anybody here would remember what you learned about from grade 2 to grade 8 is that 3-fold thing, very colorful, lots of loaded with information. But that's not a food guide in my mind. That's a food prescription. Because if you look at the table, it said, if you're female, and between this age and that age, then follow this column. And then when you find your column, you go to the row and it tells you exactly what to eat, right? 14 loads of broccoli and all that stuff. So it tells you how much to eat and what to eat. It was very prescriptive. This is a food nerd's dream. It's a food guide. And the best part about it is that Health Canada has done 2 really good things. First, they took a look at where Canadians are. And secondly, they took advantage of the internet. Because if you were to take your cursor and float around, there'd be all sorts of hands that would pop up because you click on it and there's more information and more information. Keep clicking and there's so much information, you can learn so much. And it's a valuable resource and it's a reliable resource. So it's a very robust website with lots of information. If you go on Canada.ca or just type in Canada's new food guide, it'll come to that page, and there's lots of information. You can click on all those brown tabs, Canada's food guide, food choices, eating habits, recipes. Those are all pages behind it. If you scroll down, there's more information, tips about marketing, tips about reading labels, all that good stuff. So when I say they looked at where Canadians are, that means what are they doing that we would like to change? So they're not telling you what you need to do, but they decided, well, there's one, can you, next one? Okay, so here's some 7 important messages, and this is based on where we're from. So it's, or where we're coming from. Be mindful of your eating habits. Cook more often. Why would they say that? Why would they say that? That's because we are dining out left, right, and center, right? I'm guilty. Hockey player, rec player, he's on the ice 4 times a week. If he's not home for supper, guess what he's doing? Because now he learns how to drive. And he comes home with a cup, and I'm like, oh, for the love of God, you didn't go through that place, did you? I was hungry. Okay, so he needs to cook more, right? We need to cook more because we need to eat better. We need to stop with the processed foods. We need to cook more from scratch. So some other messages, enjoy your food. Whoa, isn't that a novel idea, right? Let's take some time, slow it down, sit around, enjoy each other's company. I know we've been doing a lot of that in the last 2 years, but continue doing that. Eat meals with others. All these messages, I mean, seriously, think about it. I mean, I like to joke about it, but think about it seriously. The messages, be mindful of your eating habits, cook more often, enjoy your food, eat with others. Those are not, none of that touches on, don't eat more than 2,500 milligrams of sodium. That's not there. But if we do those 4 things, we will hopefully eat better, okay? If you cook more, you're hopefully reducing the amount of processed food you're cooking, because the amount of hidden fat, salts, and sugars in dessert foods, fat, salts, and sugars in processed meats, fat, salts, and sugars in almost every food group. If it's a salty item or a savory food item, you don't know how many hidden salts, sugars there are. If it's a dessert item, there's still some hidden salts in there because, food shelf life, stability, all that kind of stuff. The food manufacturers have got it figured out, and sometimes it's not necessarily for our benefit. Now my clock stopped, shoot.
It's okay, Andrea, don't worry.
The other part, those black lines, use food labels, limit highly processed foods, and marketing can influence your food choices. How many people are influenced by what they see in the commercials or what you see on Facebook? Naturally, we're going to be influenced by that because those marketers are smart people. And they know what little comment or the way they phrase things is going to get to the consumer. So again, if you're reading food labels, if you're reducing the amount of highly processed foods, and if you're watching the marketing, tie that into the 4 top ones, and you're going to do a better job for your health, for your heart health, for your weight health, for your mental health. The other part about this, if you could move forward, please, is if you click on one of the boxes, it says recipes. Now, you can register a subscription with this website. I register with it, and now I say that cautiously because nobody wants to get pounded and fill their inbox with stuff from Canada's, Health Canada. They only send 1 email a month, and what they send you are some healthy tips and a recipe. And what I love about this website is that's one of the recipes. The format is the same, and so again, this is a food nerd bit. I look at recipes all the time. I belong to a book club with recipe books, and I can't even open half of them because I've got so many of them, but they're fun. And what I look to this for is format ingredient lists, and methodology, directions. And I promote this website for the recipes, not because I always like the food, like I may not like certain recipes, but I promote it because the ingredients are simple. Most of them can all be found in our pantry or at the grocery store without, wandering around too long. The instructions are simple. It's bilingual. And then they give you some tips. So the format of the recipe is the same for all of them. So I really like that because I don't want to give information to my clients that is going to be so cumbersome and overwhelming that they're just going to go, forget it, I'll just do my own thing. So those recipes are really good. So you can sign up for a subscription for their monthly email, and they feature one recipe, and then you can go to their recipe pages, and it's broken down to breakfast, lunch, meals, snacks. So it's very helpful. So Canada's Food Guide is a very good source, full of information, easy to read, and I encourage you to check it out. Now, the other message that I thought was very important is bone health. Now, we also run 3 times a year, we run a session at Shigamek, the physiotherapist, myself, and a representative from Osteoporosis Canada. We do a session 3 times a year. It's 4 Mondays for an hour, and we talk about bone health. Extremely important for women. So I'd like you to consider this, and that link is in your papers. Osteoporosis website is awesome as well. It's got lots of information. It's written for the layperson, so it's easy to understand. You need to understand bone health because as we get older, we become more at risk for having poor bone health because if we don't do enough strengthening exercises, we weaken the muscles and we weaken our bones. Ironically, most of the attendees to our osteoporosis bone health session are people older than me. So I'm looking down at 60 in a couple of years, and I'm not the target for this program. So if you guys have an influence on young people, the key message with proper bone health is that when you're between the ages of about grade 7 to about 12 to around 20, that's when we store the calcium that we need in our body. After that, if you're not consuming a proper amount of calcium, if your body needs it, your body's going to take it from your stores. So hopefully during those formative years, you've stored enough calcium for the rest of your life. So it's very important to consume the proper amount of calcium. So healthy bones means that you consume calcium on a regular basis. How much calcium is everyone consuming? Well, if you don't know that, go to this website because this is what the homepage looks like, and you can see that they have upcoming cooking events. Can I ask you to flip the page? This is the calcium calculator, and we do it during our session. You go to calcium calculator, and those are the first 2 pages. So the first page is here, you tell the computer who you are. So I'm a female, 50 plus, so you click, and then you start going down the pages that look very similar to the right side of the screen, and you key in what you've eaten. 1 portion of cheese, a half a cup of cottage cheese, or some kale, or whatever. You just use some salmon. So you fill that out, and it calculates it for you. And it knows your age, and it knows that you're female, and it will tell you if you're achieving what you should take. Now, what I always tell the clients is, food is supposed to be fun. Food's not a lot of homework. But take, a snapshot of your average menu, calculate to see if you're on target. Okay? So again, I challenge you guys. The website's there. You can take it home with you, and you can do your calcium calculator. I give that as an assignment to a lot of my clients. Go 3 days of your menu, fill that out, and see if you're hitting your targets, because it's important. Bone health is important. So that was my message number 2. So 2 other quick messages is about fiber and sugar. Most of us don't consume enough fiber because we consume too much processed foods. The more food is processed, chances are a lot of the healthy nutrients are gone, and most importantly, a lot of the times fiber is gone. So just a quick message, consume 25 to 35 grams of fiber per day. You can do that by reducing the processed foods. You can do that by cooking from scratch. And this is one of my favorite sayings, is have fruit from the hand rather than the cup. So if you want an apple, have an orange, because the fiber in that is going to be greater than what you're going to drink out of a cup. And another food nerd message, Health Canada is working on new labeling laws. They're way overdue. They were supposed to come out, I think, 3 years ago, but they were 3 years late on Canada's food guide too, which didn't bother people because they didn't know it was coming. It just bothered some of us that have to work with it, and we were anticipating it so much. I'm so anticipating the new labeling laws because I think people are going to be blown away with one particular aspect of the new laws, and that will be that sugars, sugars will have to be listed as one ingredient. So if you look at a label right now, take juice, it's an easy one. There might be 3 different types of sugars in there, but it'll be water, sugar, apple, dextrose, something else, maybe pear, fructose, something else, blah, 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 another kind of sugar. Well, what they're going to do, because the law states you have to list them by order of volume, all those sugars is going to be called sugar, and then in brackets, they're going to put all the different sugars. What's going to happen to where that sugar is now going to show up? It's going to either be the first or second ingredient. So when you guys read your labels, be mindful of where the sugars are listed, how many sugars there are, and ask yourself if that's really a product that you want to be consuming. More importantly, is that something your children and grandchildren eat? The new food guide does not have orange juice. Sorry, it does not have juice on the guide at all. The beverage of choice is water. So be mindful of your fiber. Fiber is good for you because it fills you up. It takes longer to digest, so it keeps you full longer. And hopefully, if you're trying to watch the amount of food that you're consuming, you won't eat so much. Decrease sugar intake. Read ingredient labels. Its messaging is very similar to the fiber. Reduce processed foods. Cook from scratch. Have fruit from the hand rather than the cup. And make water your drink of choice. So, I hope I didn't talk too quickly. I know I've been accused of that before. Any quick questions?
Still got 3 minutes.
Okay. Yes.
Your opinion on calcium supplements?
So I prefer to eat the nutrient in a natural food, but supplements sometimes are a necessary go-to because as we get older, we may not be consuming enough food to get all the micronutrients and vitamins that we need. So yes, absolutely. And so calcium is an important supplement. My issue with some supplements is the bioavailability of things. Okay, so now we're finding eggs with omega-3. How does that happen? Right? Omega-3 is a fish oil. So they're feeding the chickens fish meal instead of cornmeal. It's not against the law. That's fine. And so then the omega-3 is appearing in the egg, which is fine. Although I've read studies both ways, and I tell this to people all the time. I'm not going to give you my opinion. I'm just going to say that I've read studies that say it's a good thing, and I've read studies that say we're not sure. Because what's happening now is we need to understand the bioavailability of the omega-3 that's coming from an orange juice or coming from an egg. And so that's where I've seen studies go, well, maybe, right? So bioavailability is important. If you're eating fiber or certain vitamin C from an orange, it's been proven to be bioavailable. It's natural in that orange, and we consume the orange, and so it's bioavailable. Calcium is an important supplement for most of us because we're just not getting enough of it in our diet. Yes?
Regarding sugar and the new labeling, will it also show the percentage of recommended daily intake on the label as it does for other ingredients?
I don't think it will. No, because there's no recommended intake. They haven't, I don't think that they've come out, I could be wrong, but I don't think that they've said
Well,
you
I
should.
believe that you should take half so much, but no more than a certain amount, like they have that for salt, I believe, maybe you just have so many.
Yeah, no, I don't think you'll see that on sugar.
So for folks who are like kind of diverse to dairy or meat or both, what would you recommend for calcium?
So depending on your, a supplement may not be a bad idea. You can get, you can easily check the list of calcium available in greens.
Yeah, but are there any supplements that are appropriate for consumers or vegetarians that you think will
Good question.
calcium? That calcium?
Yeah, good question. You'd have to check with the pharmacist to see for vegan calcium supplements. Sorry, I can't think of any brand off the top of my head. But it's amazing how you can get enough calcium without consuming milk. And it's getting more and more, you know, there's so many good quality products out there. When you have a condition like gluten was just horrible. If you had celiac 20 years ago, you were eating bread that you could throw through a window. Like it was, right? You go to the freezer section, it wasn't even that long ago really. And so now they have products and recipes that, you know, there's so much available now with gluten-free flours out there. Quinoa is a super flour to bake with that's gluten-free, complete protein, low GI, high in fiber. Yeah. Any other, oh, yes?
Have you ever heard of calcium supplements possibly contributing to heart attacks?
No. Would that be someone with a predisposition to plaque buildup in their arteries?
I would think so.
Yeah, so I don't think the calcium supplement is contributing to it, but I'm not going to speak on that because that's beyond my parameters as a dietitian. You may want to talk to your physician about that. If your physician feels that you're at cardiac risk because you have high cholesterol, you have plaque in your arteries, the calcium may contribute.
I've heard both from two different doctors.
Oh. Yeah. No, I'd like to refrain from answering that because I have not heard it, but some statements are very hard to make because so many of you could have different conditions, different levels of fitness, different levels of cholesterol, so it's a very tricky thing to make blanket statements like that.
Lately, I don't know if it's just me, but I've heard a lot about nightshade vegetables and inflammation. Is that just the next big fad, or is there some truth to it?
So, how to put your dietitian on the spot. Let me see how I can answer this safely, and I'm being taped too online, that's just lovely. Do your research. Find a reliable source. There's some great information about that. In fact, you know what, I can safely say that a colleague of mine wrote a book about that. So she's a dietitian, so that makes it kind of legal for me to say. I don't think it's the next trend, because it's been a trend for a while. For people who have inflammation, who have the certain types of arthritis, certain types of issues and pains, there's some science that's come. Sometimes it takes Health Canada and Dietitians of Canada a little bit longer to come to grips with a few things. Echinacea for one thing. Years ago, a dietitian would tell you, you know, that echinacea had the power to help you get over a cold or to prevent a cold. Where are we now with that? I mean, you can see shelves and shelves of echinacea supplements, right? So, evidence-based, it's a little slower. But there's some validity to some of those statements. Did I not answer your question? Yes.
You're talking about reliable resources.
Mayo Clinic, or the Mayo website is one that my colleagues and I tend to go to, that, you know, the public can go to.
Yes.
That's the first one that comes to my mind. I'm drawing a blank. But if I think of something afterwards, I'll come and talk to you about it. But yeah, I find that one reliable. Yeah, the other ones are profession related and sign-ins and logins and all that stuff. So I'll try and think of something. But Osteoporosis Canada, you don't have to be a diabetic to go to diabetes.ca. There's lots of great information on there, lots of good recipes. They've been tested and they're reliable, and some of their information as well. So science-based evidence is an important thing when you're trying to find a resource. Science-based means that what I say is usually backed up with some studies. And you know, I mean, the one message that I always laugh at, my family hails from Europe, and my grandmother was the matriarch of all matriarchs, and when she said something, we all jumped, right? And I remember her chirping, and I say chirping, I remember her making comments with my mother and my aunt as we were all having our kids, and you know, what was phlegm-inducing and what wasn't phlegm-inducing, and what was going to transfer into the breast milk, and that don't eat your cauliflower, don't do this and don't do that. And so there's a whole load of, you know, family information that we all take from our, you know, our elders in our family. And so the one thing that dietitians tend to do, well, not tend to do, we're kind of legally bound to make sure that our evidence, our statements come from evidence-based information, and so I can only encourage you to do the same, because there's just so much out there that even pulls me in sometimes. So, thank you very much.
All right. Oh, glasses and masks, eh? All right, thank you, Andrea. That was very informative. So I just want to maybe remind everybody that if you do have a cell phone, to please make sure that it is off so it's not interrupting the speakers when they're speaking. So yeah, that was great information, and we didn't have enough handouts for everyone today, but we do have a copy at the library that Andrea has provided us with. So we'll make sure to have copies, so if anybody wants to pop in at the library sometime soon, if they're needing a copy of the handout, that's fine as well. We'll make sure to get that to you. So let's do some prizes. $498 on the yellow. $498 on the yellow. Congratulations. 479. 479. So again, on the yellow, 479. Black Jan, congratulations. We have one on Zoom. Claudette, congratulations. We have another one on Zoom. Kathy, congratulations. 530. 530 on the yellow. Congratulations, Sharon. 529. Last one for now. 529. Congratulations. Very good. One of our speakers. So now, let's hear from Jessica Bradley and Courtney Orfield from Wine Women Wellbeing in Midland. Together they are building community and connecting women through events, workshops, books, and of course you guessed it, wine. Becoming our best selves one sip at a time. So we'll ask the ladies to come up and present.
Maybe, yeah, I think so. I'm good for a bit.
Okay.
I'll let you know.
Yeah.
We have time.
I'll get started though. So I'll introduce everybody. Oh, make sure to speak right in the microphone. Yeah. Is that better, ladies? Yeah. Okay. Well, hello. Thank you, everybody, for showing up today, for yourselves and for this community. It's amazing. I wasn't really sure what to expect today, and there's so many people here, and it feels so good. I just wanted to take a quick moment and thank Jen Peck and her team from the Midland Public Library for inviting us here today. It felt really special, and to the Penetang Library for organizing this great event again. So hello, I'm Jessica Radecki, as you guys already know. I'll just give you a little bit of background about myself so you can get to know me. I live in Midland. I'm a realtor there. I've been in real estate for about 2 years, and before that, before kids, I worked in Toronto as a building analyst for an engineering firm. So a little bit of a pivot, but the best one I think I've made, and it feels nice to be back home on Georgian Bay where we grew up with our kids. I am a mom to 3. My oldest is 5 and my youngest just turned 1, so I'm very tired. But I have 2 coffee makers and they're always going. And my co-director brought me coffee, like she knows, she just knows. So, and I am also the co-director of Wine, Women, and Wellbeing, which is a women's social group. We meet monthly for events and workshops that showcase local women throughout our community. We are one of 23 or 24 branches in Canada now, and there's one in France. And my other co-director, Courtney, she was stepped out when they called me up, but she's here today for support. She is the owner of both Flynn's and the Queen's Quay, so also a very busy lady. And she has just been such, I just wanted to toot her horn here, such a supporter of everything we set out to do at Wine, Women, and Wellbeing. Since the moment we met, she's just been gung-ho for women's communities and how can we make them better. I mean, they are better, they don't need to be better, but more of them, and empowerment, and just thank you. Thank you for doing this with me and everything. So, there you go. I had to thank her anyway. All right, so I just wanted to talk about something that I think is overlooked sometimes in people, especially women's overall wellness and mental health, and that is the power of community and connection. And if the past 2 years have taught me anything, it is the power of community and finding the one that works for you. Last spring, the opportunity to start this branch kind of fell into my lap through a family friend, and the group is kind of the perfect storm of self-care through community. It was founded by an expat who lives for years at a time out of Canada with her 2 young girls and husband. And she started Wine, Women, Wellbeing to feel connected, to meet friends and find support after finally returning to Canada after over a decade away. So kind of starting fresh. And now here we are a few years later, all across the country. So I wanted to also share a little story about why I jumped on board. At one of our fall events, a woman asked me, so why did you start this? And I said, I got this, I know. Thought back to what I was thinking last spring, when I was convincing my husband that this was a really good idea to add to my plate. I said, it's gonna be great networking, it's gonna be a great business opportunity, I can meet people, I love pink, but I just blurted out, I was because I'm lonely. And she kind of looked at me and she was like awkward, right? Because you don't say that out loud, you don't say that to strangers. But it came out, and it was the truth. And we chatted more, and she teared up, and I was, getting emotional too, because that was the truth. And I think, especially over the last 2 years, you don't realize how lonely you are for something big, for something more than your day-to-day. I'm getting emotional now. It was a good conversation. I mean, like, and I have 3 kids, right? Like, they're always touching me. I'm never alone. I have an amazing husband, amazing friends, colleagues, but was still lonely for something that I couldn't put my finger on until it kind of fell into my lap. And I think that's the case for a lot of us. So to feel supported and validated, you know, from the way only we as women can do for each other. So, and I found it with Wine and Well-Being, and I found it, you know, being back in Midland for the last 5 years now, with so many other community groups that I'm involved in. You know, and you get this energy from a community of like-minded women, you know, that we manifest together, and that is healing. I don't even know what slide I'm on. So that was, yeah, too good. There we go. All right. So now we're going to really start. And I'm really excited about this. I was telling Jen before, I love doing PowerPoint presentations. I used to have a book club with my girlfriends in Toronto. It was like a wine club, but I was always the person that would show up with like a PowerPoint presentation for the book. And they would like just like smile and nod for like 2 slides and then slowly put it away. So just like smile and nod and, you know, enjoy. All right, so I wanted to, when I thought about this idea that, you know, Jen had kind of mentioned that community is self-care, I thought about, you know, 3 big things about that we can chat about today. And the first, obviously, is community. So, you know, the definition here, a social group of any size whose members reside in specific localities, share government, and share a common cultural or historical heritage. I mean, we as women globally, we are a community. All 3,904,000,000 of us, we uniquely have a community that can be felt even without being in the same room as each other. We may not always reside in the same locality, share the same government, or even share the same views, but there are so many things that we as women share that span those boundaries. You know, like our shared histories. I mean, of course, they're unique across the world, across the individual, across the decades, but those undertones are there. The events, the tragedies, the triumphs. What else? You know, our shared experiences like motherhood, sisterhood, our first periods, our last periods. Let's see, the stereotypes, the glass ceilings, and the bias, right? And as women, we share our compassion and always our hope. And this is what makes us collectively a community. I'm used to having like a in control, right? Self-care, like tone it down a bit, maybe. And you know what? I think that's what makes us all important to the next. You know, we are a community, and the strongest one. I mean, bias, but like, do we want it? We don't have to take a vote. We know that. And the energy that we bring when we are together, whether globally, on Zoom, in this room, like it's exciting. Who is excited? Who's excited right now? I got one too. That's it. I was. Anyways, I thought this was funny because it's true. So true. But let's narrow it down a little bit. You know, we're in a smaller community in the sense of Penetang, Midland, Tay, Tiny, Southern Georgia Bay, and we're all involved in so many different things. So what is it about these things, and why do we join them? Why do we show up to this event today? I thought kind of about what I look for, or what is it that I get from it. And my top 5 here were energy. You know, so the energy you bring to this event, and the energy, you know, that I'm receiving from you guys right now, and hopefully you from me. I've had a lot of coffee, so there's a lot. Connection and inclusion, you know, linking and bonding over shared passions, new passions or ideas, you know. Learning, and this is a big one for me what I feel like I get from community is, you know, learning something new, growing your mind, expanding what you know, maybe your views on the world, right? I'm chatting to some new ladies today, and it's exciting. And then support, validation, and finding that belonging, and knowing that you're not alone in your journey, whatever that is, wherever you go. And fun, because, you know, everybody needs fun, not just my kids. And of course, there's so many reasons, like the rabbit hole. I went down the rabbit hole, but let's just stick with these 5. And does anyone else have any off the top? Like, what do you guys get from the community? Why did you guys come here today? Like the puppy cues, eggs, where they. There's more to it, right? And, you know, the things I just mentioned. And, right. Yeah, that's a good one. Influence. Yeah. Yeah.
Friendships,
Yes, friendship.
the
Yeah.
social aspect.
Yes.
God, getting out of the house.
Laughter. Yes.
Laughter,
You
yes.
want to go to the next one?
Wine.
Yeah, see, wine.
Yeah, where's the wine? Next year.
Yeah, friendship. So I just kind of threw when I was like, okay, Google has too many answers, so here, you know, here's some more, and a lot of them we just heard. Okay, next. Right. So next up is connection. You know, it comes with community, right? And we connect to so many different things. You know, smells, food, songs, family, friends, not friends. But sometimes that deeper connection is what we crave, and we don't even know we crave it until it's, you know, right in our face. And I think about this a lot personally in my career, previously as working in a male-dominated engineering industry, and now as a realtor where I work alone most of the time. So when I worked in engineering, I was one of 3 women in my Toronto firm of 38, one of 2 in my postgraduate class, graduating class of 54. So needless to say, finding a community, any community, that got me as a woman and what I brought to the table, it was non-existent. It was not there. So, you know, that's lonely, right? And now in real estate, it's different, as I work with so many fabulous realtors in our community and in my brokerage, but we all are running our own business, and the opportunity to connect is missed sometimes. So go outside of the box, right? Find that deeper connection. Find the group that lifts you up in mind and spirit and pushes you deeper towards that true potential that, you know, we're all seeking, right? Surround yourself with women who drive you, who support you, who show up for you, who call you out, and women that you would do the same thing for, right?
That's right.
And we can have many different communities. It doesn't have to just be, you know, a women's group or a business group. They all connect to one or more parts of your life. You know, you have your family, your friends, you know, your professional groups, your art groups, you know, your gym buddies, whoever. They all connect to different parts, and they're all equally important to recognize that they are making you reach that level of, I don't know, potential awesomeness. Okay. And lastly, I thought about this one a bit, and I think this is the word I decided on, but community, connection, and involvement, whether it's a social group or volunteering or anything, it brings rest. I mean, not in the typical sense, but the reality is our lives are like so busy. Everybody is moving so fast. We work, we have families, we have grocery lists, it's exhausting, right? So, you know, we live in a society where productivity, it trumps everything, and our to-do lists are massive and they're glorified. But when you take a step outside of that and become involved in something else, something bigger, it eludes a form of rest. And I really like this definition because if you put it in the context of, you know, getting involved somehow, rest, to cease work or movement in order to relax, refresh, or recover strength. And I think about, you know, the excitement I felt today, how I feel after one of our events, or book club, or weekend away. I mean, probably more tired, but I feel rested, I feel clear, and you know, you can remove yourself and get a little bit of reprieve from those grocery lists and to-do lists and everything we strain ourselves with. Our physical bodies it's not the only part of ourselves that needs to be cared for. Our minds and mental well-being and our souls often get pushed to the side, but they are just as deserving. Sometimes we do need a nap, like I would take a nap. Or a hot bath, I would take a hot bath right now. And I would take a spa day right now. But often we need friendships, we need support, we need creativity, and an outlet to feel welcome, and to shift our minds away from everything else we have to do with our lives. All right. To kind of finish it off, this quote, I just love this quote. Every time I see it, I love it. And I think for decades, well, years and years, probably more than decades, we are pitted in this unnecessary form of, unhealthy competition against each other, against women, and against ourselves. And that detracts from the community that we strive to create and the well-being that we can attain. And it's not beneficial, right? So, if anyone knows about hard work and success and competition, it's probably Serena Williams, so, she might know. So why not, to close it out, turn to someone at your table and ask them what they're proud of, and then just genuinely congratulate them. We're gonna do it now. We have a partnership with the Midland Public Library for a quarterly book club box. We have an informal event tomorrow. If you want to just pop by and meet Courtney and myself for a drink or a tea at Flynn's at 7 tomorrow. We're just going to kind of open it up and pop by. Otherwise, our March event is the 23rd, and it is a Sex and the City trivia night. We just thought we'd keep it, do something fun, and we're obsessed, so it'll be a really fun competition. So tickets are on Eventbrite. I can somehow get the link if people don't know on Facebook or Instagram. I can email Jen. And in April we are in the works of planning a cooking class, so stay tuned for some pretty fun events. Next thing. And this is my daughter Pearl. She was really adamant to be in the show. She was like, she wanted to come, but it is her nap time. She wanted to be in the show, so here she is. This is basically her in a nutshell. And I'll say this to you and to her, may she never doubt her abilities, her worth, and her joy. So thank you, ladies. Any questions? It's actually ranges all over the place. So I'm just trying to
19 to 70.
Yeah,
80.
yeah, and I've seen all. I mean, it depends on the event, I guess, but usually, I think the crowd mostly is the 30 plus, definitely. But it ranges. Yeah. I mean, Courtney's mom comes down. She's awesome.
So how would they go about finding you?
So we are on Facebook or Instagram. We do have an email address as well, which I can send out to the contacts at the library to share as well, to post on Facebook or however to follow up. You can contact us there. And all of our events go through Eventbrite, so you can find them there. Anything else?
I will say that I kind of jumped on the bandwagon very late, but I popped into the last one women well-being issue thing, and Pauline did say I've learned so much about self-care, nutrition, and mindfulness, and all of these things from Pauline, who presented last night.
Yes, yeah,
I was so glad that I logged in. Anyways, yes, I hope you
Thank you, that was fantastic, and I do hope that many, 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 many of you will join in that group, because they do walk away with a lot of information, and it's a great social event, and as well, it's a great opportunity to form new alliances and new friendships. So, good on you, I love it. All right, let's draw some prizes. All right, I got a bunch here. All right, yellow ticket, 481, 481, 481 at the table there. Yellow ticket, 494, 494 at the back. Oh, Deputy Mayor, congratulations. 482, 482. 482. We'll wait till the ladies catch up here. 472. Oh, 472 right up front. And we have one on Zoom. Emily Keenan. I just love getting this. Oh, we have another Zoom, and it's Joanne. Okay. So, our next guest speaker is Cher Cunningham. She's the counselor in the town of Midland. She's Ward 3. And she's a mindful entrepreneur owner. And she helps business owners become massively intentional in their business so that they reclaim their time, regain their energy, and peace of mind. So I'll give the floor to Cher.
All right, thank you so much. It is so exciting to be in person. I have missed this. I am one of those small stage people that just likes to get out and see human beings. So it is so great to see you all today. Doesn't it make life feel just a little bit more real?
Oh, yeah.
A little bit more hopeful? And realistically, that's a great deal of what I do in my business. And I'm standing here today with a few councillors, take people in the room, with municipal government people in the room, but I'm going to stand here today in my business seat. So I am a hypnotist and I am a business coach. And so I'm going to bring, I'm not going to hypnotize you today. I wish I had more time because there's some really fun things we could do. But today I thought I'd share a little bit of my story and one gift. And it's very hard to try to figure out what to bring in 15 minutes. But it's a gift that is incredibly powerful that changed my life, and it tends to change the life of the women entrepreneurs that I work with. So first of all, I want to start in a little strange place, kind of a dark place. Back in 2013 when I burned out. It was what I would have called to myself back then, the pit of despair. I would have told you I'm fine. Effed up, insecure, neurotic, exhausted. I'm fine. It doesn't stay there. It wouldn't be a very good story if it did. It came out of the pit. These days, I have something that I never had before the pit. I have happiness. Authentic, unfearful happiness. I have unshakable self-esteem. I have resilience, and I have actual joy, which I thought was just, fairy tales and makeup commercials. I have a full cup. Back then, I didn't have a cup. I'd heard this, fill your cup first. I had met people who had said that they learned to say no. And I thought, what's a nice thing to say, right? That's a nice tagline or a slogan, but it doesn't ring true. It didn't show up in my body. It didn't show up in who I was. I didn't have a cup. And even if I'd had a cup, it would have been, well, what do I put in my cup? What is self-care? I have raised so many children. I had 2 of my own children. My husband had 2 children when we met him, and his oldest child donated 3 to us. We know how to raise a child. We know how to care for somebody else. Make sure they're sleeping. Make sure they are accepted. Make sure they have a safe place to fall, that they're connected, that you're listening, that you acknowledge when they're brave. Help them have a recovery plan. You take the time after bravery, right? All of us afterwards will just like high-five each other. We were brave, right? You know how to raise somebody else, so why when it comes time to apply to self, it's so darn hard, so not simple. We would never neglect our children like we do to ourselves. Now, when I first started coming out of where I had been, out of that burnout year, I didn't know what I enjoyed. I had been clinically depressed from the time I hit puberty to the time I was 44. Your brain does not enjoy much in depression, so you don't know what's fun. So you have to kind of make it up and pretend, if I was to do something that was fun, what would it be? And in fact, some of my clients, I will assign them, make a list of 100 things you actually enjoy. Don't put somebody else's list on there. Right? We see all these lists of self-care, do this. Those are sources of inspiration. They are not your list. It shouldn't be a checklist or a to-do list that you're struggling under, like, oh crap, one more thing, I gotta have a bath. And find candles and matches. I don't have time for this. You sit there with a glass of wine, and wine is not self-care. It is a nice side self-care, right? It is something that accompanies, like salt. Sometimes I look at what you see on TV where women always have a glass of wine in their hands these days, or they can't have a friend. And I think there should be that warning that came with the frosted sugar bomb type cereals when we were kids. You'd see the cereal, and it would say, part of a complete breakfast. And then they have to throw in eggs and toast and juice and fruit and all those things because it's the treat that goes with the complete breakfast. Not that I drink wine for breakfast. And it's not about rest necessarily, right? Self-care is about refilling, replenishing. And rest won't do it. And you can get in a bloody downward spiral of rest that you cannot claw yourself back out of. You need to play hard, you need to recreate or recreate, some people call it. So I thought today we'd build a cup. I'm going to share a little bit of my story with you. Just enough that I can either be an inspiration or a cautionary tale. Not to tell you, be impressed that I came from there to here, but know that people can, because we all are hurt, we are all wounded, we all have some part of us broken, or we know someone who is. And it's very easy to say, well, that's just the way I am. And I start there with a lot of my business clients, who they're like, well, it's just who I am. Okay, until when? Right? Because this moment is a time of change, always. This only second you're alive is a time of change and choice. So I was burnt out, and until I experienced burnout, people would say, oh, I'm so burnt out. I'd be like, they need a good night's sleep. Maybe they need a weekend off. Then I experienced it. And let me just situate you briefly how it happened. You may have heard of the proverbial frog in the boiling water, but in theory, this is not true, and they have experimented to find out it's not true. You put a frog in cold water and then you turn on the heat. The story is that they won't jump out, they won't notice the heat, and they will die. It's not actually true for the frog, but it turned out to be fairly true for me, because I had a fairly full plate back then. I did not have a full cup. I had a home, I had a husband, I had 2 teenagers, I had 3 special needs grandchildren that I was raising. One of them had an anxiety disorder, one of them had an attachment disorder, and quite a bit of violence that he came with. And the other one was on the autism spectrum with ODD and conduct disorder. My husband worked in Guelph, so he was away 4 to 5 days of the week. So I was basically single parenting. And I was running a business. Back then as a web designer, and back in 2013, there was a worldwide hackathon. That was the year that CSIS got hacked. so did most of my client websites. Well, I had been raised to not have a cup, to not think of my needs. I was a woman, I was the nurturer, I was a giver. So I'm in a service business, this time with boundaries. I gave a lot in that year that I call my year from hell, and I burned out. The stress level was so high that my memory was gone. I thought I had early onset Alzheimer's. I was terrified. I had all of the symptoms, and it was just chronic, debilitating stress. I could not remember from day to day. I would go from irritable to angry, for a little change, to numb, to terrified, to irritable, to angry, to numb. And if I had my brain slow down, all I could hear was, I'm dying. I'm dying. And it would just repeat, so I would distract myself and drink wine. And I thought that was self-care, which was not the case at all. In fact, it led to more challenges. I couldn't finish work unless I had a glass of wine, and then I could tell myself, oh, I'm not at work anymore. And I could do some of the other normal, terrifying things. My road back started with mindfulness, and if you have not yet experienced mindfulness, if you have not taken a full course in mindfulness, you are going to want to talk to Dr. Emily Queen, who is going to be able to bring you through the mindfulness-based stress reduction program. I ran away from home. I thought at the time it was weakness, but it turns out it was vulnerability. It was finally asking for help, finally saying, I can't, or as my daughter, who's now 32, would say, Mom was experiencing a failure to can. I needed help, so I ran away. I ran to my brother's house. I stayed there for a few days, and I came back, and it had been so bad. How bad was it? It was so bad. I got real help, finally, at 44 years old. I went to my doctor and I said, I need a psychiatrist. And I got to the psychiatrist whose name was Dr. Mulder. That boded well. Then I sat down with him, and in the first 5 minutes, he pulls out his prescription pad and says, you need this pill, and you need this pill, and you need this pill. And I was dismayed and disillusioned and despairing. I'd been there, I'd done that, that doesn't work. And he said, we're going to start here. And then he pushed it aside and said, so that you can do something new if you're open to it. I'm not going to cry. He said, I'd like you to try this program. It's called mindfulness-based stress reduction. I attended Dr. Levine's course down in Barrie, and it was magic. It was so fast, so profound. The opportunity to discover that I am not my thoughts, I am not my emotions, they don't have to define me or control me. To step out of reactivity, to actually be able to breathe, to be able to reset my nervous system. It was amazing. I had never dreamed of a life where I could love myself and feel like a whole person. I knew from the time I was about 4 years old that I was broken, that I wasn't fully human. I wasn't all there. Because depression starts very young often, right? We get it from our parents, we give it to our kids, something for me to be aware of. Since then, when I retrained as a hypnotist and a business coach, I got more amazing tools, remarkable tools to be able to take that baggage that I've been carrying that was breaking me and offload it, reprogram it, and step into a future. So that was supposed to be my 2-minute version of my past that got me moving towards today. I'll go to the next slide. I learned how to build a cup. And I want to share this gift with you because as women, we have been told not to have a cup. Because a cup is built from boundaries. Boundaries are choices, decisions, the ability to say, this is where I stop and you begin. This is me. That is not me. To know, this is my problem, but that is not my problem. And to be able to express that. The first boundaries I set were in mindfulness, right? Boundaries on what emotions I was going to hang out with. All of them is the actual answer. Oh my goodness, I love all emotions now, because I can put boundaries on them. Oh, hello, Doug, have a seat. You have 5 minutes. What do you have to share with me? Is there any lesson that you have for me today, Doug? All right, time's up, thanks. Bye. The part of me that has imposter syndrome. Oh, hello, little girl. I remember you. You were 5. I love you. Come on in. What do you need to tell me? You still got 5 minutes. I'll give you a hug. You can go off and play. The ability to set boundaries on the emotions that I was willing to have in my cup and how they would show up in my cup. Huge transformation. You know, it's like the story I heard that there are people who can walk into a kitchen. There are fresh baked cookies on the table, and they're coming home after dinner. These cookies are there. They're fresh baked cookies. Did I say that? They've eaten dinner and they're going, yeah, I'm not hungry right now, maybe tomorrow. That stuns me. I can't believe those people are out there. When it came to putting boundaries on my emotions, it was that. I had read every book. I had been in business since I was 19. One of the first books I read was The 7 Habits of Highly Successful People. I had read everything. I had not lived any of it. So to be able to experientially change, I mean, all change really is interpersonal and experiential, was remarkable. Boundaries on myself came first, so that I could build that cup. It was a very, maybe you have a little Dixie cup. It might have had that little cone shape and it flipped over and fell over a lot, but I had a cup. And I could choose what I experienced. I could take automatic negative thoughts, let them drift by. Notice them and go, wonder whose thought that is, because it sure as heck isn't mine. Watch that, don't say that H word. And just let it drift, not beat myself up. And then it came to setting boundaries on others. I didn't do so well at first. I actually have a quick story that I do want to share. My son is a very intense young man. Very intense young man. And at the time that I was starting to learn this, he and I could not be in the same room together for more than 2 minutes. One of us would table flip and we would be out of there because we were just hitting each other the wrong way. I had a lot of resentment, a lot of feeling like I didn't matter and feeling used by him at the same time. And I set a boundary. I said, son, I've been driving you to work every day. I'm not driving you to work anymore. In the event that there is an unforeseen circumstance involving stampeding buffalo, earthquakes or typhoons, and your work is still open, and you need a ride there, and taxis are not running, let me know. He said, oh, sure, Mom, I didn't even know it was inconvenient. Tiny, massive. It transformed our relationship because I stopped disabling him and treated him like an adult able to can. I had projected my weakness, projected my neediness onto him. And I treated him like a grown-up. It was pretty darn cool. And it was a great first experience. We'll go to the next slide. So you need to have tools to build anything. I'm not a potter. I do not. Don't get me to make you a ceramic cup or a clay pot. You don't want that to happen, but this cup we can build. You already are the materials, right? Those boundaries are what you're going to pull together. The tools you need are worthiness. You deserve a cup. I don't know if any of you have heard that before, but I sure hadn't. I've struggled under undeserving all my life, but you deserve a cup. When you have worthiness, you can build your cup. It's one of those tools that lets you put it together to say, my time has worth, my money has worth, my energy has worth, which means I need a darn cup. You need self-esteem. I didn't know what self-esteem was. I actually read a great definition in a book and learned how to create it using NLP and hypnosis. Radical self-acceptance. unconditional self-love and a growth mindset. I am perfect in growing. Always growing, always learning. Self-esteem, and my self-esteem really is unshakable. Not that I don't go through doubt and all the other stuff, right? I'm human still. You need mindfulness so that you can realize you can handle any emotion, any circumstance, any situation, and just say, I'm curious, tell me more about that. I'm angry, why aren't you plowing my road before I have to go to work? Oh, tell me more about that. How often does that happen? Wow, that sounds tough. I'm gonna look into it for you. Does this always happen? The ability to ask questions opens up. Curiosity is the most healing emotion. I love it. When you have that, you can open your awareness. You can actually expand your awareness. See what the heck's actually going on out there without filtering it through any negativity. And you need courage. If you are going to set a boundary, especially if you have not in the past, you're going to need to hold that boundary. And I love Brené Brown. She says, I choose discomfort in this moment over resentment. If you want to build respectful, authentic relationships, they need boundaries. Because otherwise you are taking away that other person's ability to can by doing it for them, by saving them, by rescuing them and thinking, now I matter. Which in that equation means you don't, you can't, you won't. You can't build a relationship in which that other person actually can believe you matter if you can't set boundaries on them. Mind blowing. If you hear yourself go, that's a leak in your cup. That's a boundary violation. If you've ever been asked for something and you are exhausted from doing it, you haven't even said yes yet. It's a boundary violation. We'll go to the next one. Brené is awesome. She also says, you don't stop giving, you give big. It's a great acronym. How do you give from an authentic, reciprocal place? You start with boundaries. You add in the integrity to say, I trust that you can do this. I'm going to let you be a grown-up. I'm not going to come in, swoop in, and save you. But if you need something, I am here for you. My son actually taught me a great phrase that I hadn't even realized I had used. He hated me offering help. I don't get it. You need help. You're my kid. You need help. You need me. He said, can you just ask me, how can I support you? Oh, I love language. How can I support you? I just need to be heard today, Mom. I don't need anything else. I just needed to tell you. Or, I need $5,000, Mom. If you want to be able to give with generosity and you have not checked off those two first items, you cannot do it from a place of authenticity, reciprocity, and respect. So let's go to the next one. Jack Kornfield is someone I absolutely dearly love. He is not Jack Canfield. He really is Jack Kornfield. He is a Buddhist psychologist. So when you come from mindfulness and that becomes part of how you're healing and part of your journey, Jack is a good person to talk to. He says, forgiveness is the ability to give up all hope of a better past. And you need forgiveness to build boundaries if you're starting today. Because at 44, I was like, holy moly, 44 and I'm just learning this? That's not fair. How stupid was I? And I stopped doing that. I forgave myself. And there's actually a ritual I went through to forgive myself so that my unconscious mind, which is like 95% of my being, knew that I forgave myself. I forgive myself for not having known this, for having treated myself and others in this fashion. And I'm so happy to move forward with this new knowledge and discover who I can be and how I can support others more authentically. Next slide. So there's a formula, there's a process. I don't know if in the old boys club they're all talking about this stuff, but I didn't know there's a process to setting boundaries, and this is how you build your cup. Somebody says, Cindy, can you chair this new committee? Cindy, if she does not have boundaries, might have the knee-jerk reaction of, I'm a damn good chair. You probably need me. You are. Yes. Now, if that's your habit, someone requests time, money, energy, you're on the spot. You love that person. And it can feel like slapping them in the face to say no. You say, you know what? Let me see if I can make that happen for you. I'll get back to you. You are no longer on the spot. Right? You also get a chance to go back and go, is this really respectful? Is this really letting them adult well? Is this building a great relationship of reciprocity with them? Is this okay? Because then you go internal. And this can happen very fast. You ask yourself 3 questions. If any of them are no, you go to step 4 and you say no. The first question is, do I have it to give? Do I have the time? Do I have the money? Do I have the energy? Sometimes people skip that step and they jump to step 2. Do I want to give it? And they didn't bring in the integrity. If I have no money for you, I'm sorry, I can't help you this time. If I have no time, I'm sorry, I am committed to really high priorities right now, and I would not be able to do this justice. I'm sorry, I can't help you with this one. If it's a yes, you go to step 2 and you go, do I want to give it? Okay? With my son, do I really want to drive a 19-year-old man to work every day? No, why would he ever move? Stop cooking with cheese. Do I want to give it? If the answer is no, you are done again. If the answer is yes, it's not just hell yes, 100%, I'm going back there and saying yes. The next question is, under what circumstances? I'll do the cooking if you do the cleaning. I can watch the kids if you pick up my son at school. I can do this if you prepare that. You can actually have criteria, which is a whole other talk. When I discovered criteria, man, my world became very interesting. When you have your answer, you go back and you don't tell the story and you don't justify it. You just say, I'm sorry, I can't help you with this one. Okay? Or, I'd be delighted to, thanks for asking. Thanks for thinking of me in either case. Next slide. So, we're all on a journey whether we know we are or not. Sometimes, like today, we're on the journey together. Sometimes we are desperately alone. Sometimes we are toxically independent. The journey is better together with wine, women, and connection. What's a new boundary that you could set today that would strengthen your cup so that you don't do the insanity part I went through for so long because I didn't have a cup? We're always reinforcing our cup. We're always looking at whether there's sludge getting into our cup or not. So that's my challenge for you today, is to think, who could I set a boundary with today? Maybe yourself. Maybe someone you've been loving just a little too much. Thank you so much for letting me participate in this evening.
Yeah.
Thank you, Cher.
Thanks.
Does
Yeah, I
anybody
know.
have any questions at this time for Cher? No? So we're gonna do some prizes. If any of you need a little bathroom break, you can kind of squeak out and take a little break, and we'll do some prizes. So number 520, yellow 520. Perfect, congratulations. 531, yellow 531. Congratulations. 489. There we go, that's 492. On the yellow, right? Zoom. Michelle. Congratulations, Michelle. 514. Yellow 514. Yellow 512. 512. Two more. 517. Yellow 517. You can just keep your hand up, show her again, okay? 505. 505. Yellow 505. 469. 469. Number 480. Our next one is by Zoom, and it's Jill Segama. 526. Yellow 526. Anybody got 526? Four nine zero. 476. 476. Right here? 501. 504. 523. 523. Red to the red. Two more for now. 496. And 513. 513. Sorry, we're just checking on our next person. Since I got to check on my presenter, maybe we'll do some more prizes. Do you guys want more prizes? $497. I say, we go. 499. Yellow 499. 503. 503. 470. 470. 521. 521. 495. There we go. 528. 528. And this will be the last one for now. 473. 473. So congratulations on that round. All right, so now we're going to get back to business. All right, so I guess we have one presenter who might be running late or she's not feeling well. We're going to try and find out. But our next presenter is here, which is great. So we are now going to hear from Dr. Emily Queenan, and I do hope I'm saying your name right. She is the president of the Medical Staff Association at GBGH in Midland, a medical physician with family medicine and maternity care in Penetanguishene, providing full spectrum primary care and low risk obstetrical I can't even say the word, obstetrical care. In addition, she has a particular interest in reproductive health care, end-of-life care, including MAID, and transgender care. Her care is informed by her training in integrative and holistic medicine, which supports her to deliver mindful medicine for whole body, mind, and spirit. Today she speaks on mindfulness-based stress reduction. I will ask you to applaud and welcome Dr. Emily.
Thanks so much. It's such a pleasure to be here. I couldn't be here the whole afternoon, but it sounds like it's been a lovely afternoon. And I did get to catch the end of Cher's talk, where she did talk about the role of mindfulness in creating our health and in a healthy life. And so it's a privilege to delve into that a little bit more with speaking of mindfulness-based stress reduction. So sorry, you know what? I'll just say this. I'll go the old school. I haven't had a presentation with someone doing my slides in a long time. So next slide, please. First, I wanted to share a story. First, I wanted to share a story with you about how I came to mindfulness meditation 15 years ago. I was in the first year of my family medicine residency program, and amidst the incredibly steep learning curve of learning to care for patients, an incredible amount of book learning, learning to collaborate with other specialists, I became overcome by worries and developed had my first panic attack in my clinic, and it was mortifying. People talk about a panic attack as being, first you're terrified that you're dying, and then you're terrified that you're not dying. And as a new physician, it was really horrible. And I knew that I needed to do something to start to manage my anxiety better. And I sought conventional, traditional medical care. I was on medications and saw a counselor. Next slide, please. But in speaking with one of my mentors who witnessed my panic attack,
he asked if I'd ever heard of mindfulness meditation. You know, he thought it might be helpful. And that very evening, in my inbox, an email arrived from a woman at my church who said that she'd be starting a mindfulness meditation group every week. The timing was perfect, and that group truly changed my life. Mindfulness meditation, which for me has been a regular sitting practice, informal moments of mindfulness throughout the day, and extended time spent in silent retreat, has helped me maintain my sanity amongst the stressors of a demanding medical career, a move from New York to Ontario, and raising 3 boys with my husband. Next slide, please. So let's start with some simple definitions about what mindfulness meditation is. Jon Kabat-Zinn is an American meditation teacher and creator of the Stress Reduction Clinic and the Center for Mindfulness in Medicine, Healthcare and Society at the University of Massachusetts Medical School. He describes mindfulness as the awareness that arises through paying attention on purpose in the present moment, non-judgmentally. Each of those words is important, so I'll just read them again. It's the awareness that arises through paying attention on purpose in the present moment, non-judgmentally. Next slide, please. A mindfulness meditation practice is simply the practice of those skills. So Jon Kabat-Zinn developed the MBSR program in the 1970s to assist people in managing stress and stress-related disorders. It uses experiential learning and practice to engage participants in mindfulness, meditation, body awareness, mindful movement, and an exploration of the patterns of behavior, thinking, feeling, and action. The course is composed of 8 weekly 2.5-hour classes, a 6-hour silent retreat, and a home practice of 40 to 60 minutes per day for the duration of the 8-week course. It's a big commitment for all those who participate, but it really pays off. Next slide, please. And in fact, it is the major mindfulness-based intervention that's been studied in medicine, and particularly in North America in the past several decades. It's been found to be helpful in the alleviation of suffering from a variety of conditions, including depression, anxiety, chronic pain disorders, irritable bowel syndrome, chronic headaches, insomnia, amongst many others. Though certainly, of course, mindfulness meditation is intended to integrate with conventional medicine and not in place of that. Next slide, please. So a lot of you might be thinking, I don't want to be a yogi on a mountaintop. I'm not a meditator. And you know, as serene as this woman looks, this is not our lives. And in fact, that's not what mindfulness meditation is intended to be. We integrate practice into everyday life, such that mindfulness meditation is eminently practical, transforming people's experiences of their lives, in their work, in their relationships, and within themselves. Next slide, please. So how does it do this? Well, I wanted to talk a little bit about stress reactivity to understand how training in mindfulness meditation could cause such significant changes in the physiology of the body. You know what? Oh no, sorry.
Do you want to
You
go
can
back? I can point.
I can point. It's okay. You can go back. Oh, sorry. Back to the stress reactivity. I'll just point with my finger. I should have brought a little pointer. I am so sorry. I have to get this phone call.
Yep.
Yes. Yes. I'm giving a talk right now. May I call you back in 5 minutes about it? Okay, thanks. Have a busy day. So sorry, I didn't arrange coverage. Okay. Well, let's talk about stress reactivity. So this is a diagram about how stress impacts the physiology of our bodies. We've got external stressors at the top and internal stress events that arise from within us. Both of those activate in the body the sympathetic nervous system, or the fight or flight. And the fight or flight nervous system is incredibly powerful when we are fighting off the saber-toothed tiger, or even the metaphorical saber-toothed tiger, when it's activated acutely for an acute stressor. Our blood pressure raises, our eyes dilate, our muscles tense, and we're ready to fight. However, the problem happens when this happens chronically, and that's where high blood pressure occurs, insomnia, chronic headaches, chronic pain, anxiety. And unfortunately, even more harmful, we can develop maladaptive coping strategies with overwork, overeating, overuse of alcohol or other substances. So in MBSR, mindfulness-based stress reduction, we take these same stressors, knowing that stress in the world won't go away, and no one will change that, but rather we change the way that our body-mind responds to them, so that we can develop an emotionally informed approach to the stressors, and develop problem-focused strategies, and we can seek new options with openness and creativity. So this isn't about banishing stress, but rather developing practices to respond to it with compassion and equanimity. Next slide, please. So I thought we could spend a few moments in an awareness of breath meditation to start to explore a little bit about what this is all about. Directing attention to the breath is helpful as a way of focusing our attention and steadying the mind. The breath serves like an anchor to the present moment, always here, always with us, and always available. So first, for everyone who is here, sitting in the room with us, and to those who are connecting via Zoom at home, I ask that you find an erect, restful, but alert posture with your feet on the ground, allowing yourself to be comfortable and at ease, yet alert. And for those in the room, if you feel so comfortable, you could allow your eyes to close or rest in an unfocused gaze in front of you, allowing your body to settle. Allow your attention to rest on the physical sensations of breathing, following the passage of the air through your nostrils, the back of your throat, to your chest, and expanding your belly and out. Allowing your attention to rest on the coming and the going of the breath. Following a few breaths like this. Now, when you notice your attention has moved away from the sensations of breathing, know that that is completely normal. Gently redirect your attention back to the breath. As the attention drifts away 1,000 times, bring it back 1,000 times. Bringing your attention to focus on the breath wherever it is most prominent for you. At the nostril, at the back of the throat, in the expansion of the chest, or in the abdomen, expanding the belly. Allowing your mind to focus on the flow in and the flow out of the breath. When your attention drifts away, you gently bring it back without judgment. Staying present with the breath is your anchor to the present moment. Taking one last in-breath and out-breath, and allowing your eyes to open and your gaze to focus again on the room around us. So thank you for joining me in that brief practice. Typical practices in the MBSR program range from anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes up to 40 minutes. And 40 minutes may sound unfathomable for those of you, many who have never had any experience of meditation. The intention is to bring this program to anyone, regardless of background or experience of physical or cognitive strengths or abilities. And so even in those longer meditations, which we work up to slowly, you take it one breath at a time. And the program uses a variety of meditative practices, sitting practices, movement practices, and body awareness practices, including the body scan. And then next slide. And so certainly my intention in this brief talk was simply to introduce you to the idea that mindfulness-based practices can exert an incredibly profound effect in the body-mind, influencing a variety of both disorders and by promoting wellness. But I also want to let you know that I'm really extraordinarily excited to be bringing this program to our community for the first time. In what I know, I don't think it has been offered locally yet. So I'll be offering mindfulness-based stress reduction starting at the end of April. All the links are on my website. If you have easy access to the internet, it's at queenan.ca. Or certainly you can contact my office for more information. Certainly didn't want to have this talk simply only to promote, if you will, this program that I'm offering, but rather to introduce the profound effects that this practice can have in people's lives. But I'm also so happy to be able to offer the program to our community, fully covered by OHIP, of course, which is pretty extraordinary. And we can go to the last. So this is me, Dr. Emily at queenan.ca, my website.
I already have my name.
Yes, absolutely.
So we at the library always look for partnerships and programs to offer to our community. And so I'm just wondering if that's something you would be interested in perhaps having a discussion about.
Absolutely.
Yes?
Absolutely. This first one will be hosted at the Yoga House. I've started to work with Lisa O'Driscoll to host it there. I'll certainly be. My intention is to offer this first one in person. I miss being in person. I can see so many places virtually. But I do also honor there's real value in virtual connections, especially for those who, because of variety of limitations, aren't able to leave the home easily. So I'll certainly be offering programs in the future virtually, and I'm absolutely interested in community partnerships.
/virtual? Perfect, that would be fantastic.
And I'm on the socials, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, so feel free to, yeah.
Wonderful.
Any other questions?
Oh, so sorry. Hello. So a referral wouldn't be needed?
No. There are some programs where referrals are required. I can't see that I need that.
Yeah, and
So
how big is the group?
they're 12 to 14, but I'll be offering it multiple times. And they'll be, and that's really in the interest of, limited by the space. So especially in there, but we'll be able to have larger groups in the virtual setting. They'll be limited to probably about 18 in a group in order to foster the dialogue of inquiry.
How long is the program?
Thank you for asking. It's an 8-week program. Each class is 2.5 hours, which is a commitment. And it's truly, this is a program where we know it is most effective if each participant is able to commit to the whole program, which does include that home practice. And it does include also the silent retreat between weeks 6 and 7, which for this program works out to June 4th, I think.
You said the end of April?
Yeah, April 27th is. Thank you.
Is this during the day or in the evening?
This one will be at 4:30 to 7, but I have on the website, if that's a time that doesn't work for you, then I'm encouraging folks to let me know when does, because I really had to choose it quite arbitrarily, but I'm absolutely open to having future programs that will be at different times. So. And this is in addition to my normal practice. All of you who may be my patients, I'm not letting any of that go. In fact, I have a nurse at the Berlin unit who's waiting for my phone call back.
Does anybody else have any questions for Dr. Quinn? No? Thank you so much. Don't leave before partnerships for my members. So hopefully we'll be able to get that going for you guys. So we're going to do some prizes while you look up our next speaker to see if we can connect, because we've had some internet issues. So we'll do some prizes.
Sure.
Hands getting tired?
Yeah.
Okay. And then,
Yeah. Okay.
okay.
All right. Number 506 on your yellow tickets. By Zoom, Pat. Pat by Zoom. Number 500. Lucky 500. 500. Number 475. 475. Number 486. 486. Does anybody have yellow 486? By Zoom, Kelly. Number 484. If you just keep your hand up. Number 502. 502. Right there. 486. 486. Did I already call that one? Number 486, yeah. Oh, we had two. 486. Emily for Zoom. 487. 487 at the back. 519. 519. Okay. 524. 524. Okay, thank you. 508. 508. And our last winner is 507. 507. No. So congratulations for those that have won those prizes. Ooh. Now we get to do the goodies. Okay, so we got our little card up. Are you guys ready?
What color?
These are blue. The red is for the right? All right, so just so there's no those three gifts then? Okay. Change of plan. Sorry, guys. The boss just spoke. All right. So we have a really, really nice prize, a door prize from Michelle's Optical, if I'm not mistaken. And they are Ray-Ban sunglasses. And the winner of that prize is Blue Ticket 521.
Whoops.
I wanted those just to be on the same Oh yes, this is a really nice gift too. So we have a wonderful card detailing, full card detailing. Prize from Bourgeois dealership, Nissan. So we really want to thank you for that because it's worth a lot of money. So the winner of that prize, oh my lord, 518. Blue ticket 518.
Whoa.
So our next gift, our door prize, is from Wine, Women and Wellbeing. There's all kinds of goodies in there. Apparently there's a gift certificate for Twins. There's a gift certificate for Quays and other stuff. So I'm not going to name them all, but it's great, great. We appreciate that. We want to say thank you. And the winner of that blue ticket is 535. 535.
I turned it up. I can't turn it down. It's magnified. I don't know what I did. I'm making Linda look. Thank you. Okay. Go.
So anybody coming up to pick up these prizes, you're going to actually come up and get them because we're going to have to take your picture of you and your prize. So you get to open them in front of everybody.
Here, it's in one under the
I'm
desk.
just stirring all the names just to make it really fair. Because everybody wants one of these, right? So while I'm waiting, if you could look ahead of you on the table in front of you, there will be a survey. If you can fill that out, you can either fill it out today and leave it behind, filled out. We really appreciate that. That helps us to bring you things for Women's Day next year and so on and so forth. Tells us what we did wrong, what we did good, and how we can improve and all that fantastic stuff. Yes? This is our third annual Women's Day. Yes, last year was by Zoom, unfortunately, and the year before was humongous, and we had a luncheon. So we're hoping to do that again next year. All right, so if you can fill them out. If you don't want to fill them out here, you want to fill them out at home, please make sure that we get them at the library, okay? Are we ready? Oh, you can put them at the Dropbox too if you wish. Are we ready? So, our first one, red tickets, 597. 597. So you will make your way up here so we can take a picture.
Oh my God.
Okay. Our next number, red ticket 612. 612. 612. Don't be afraid to take your belongings out of this bag so that we can show how proud you are of ownership.
We'll ask that you hold this.
Whoa.
Our next number is 606. 606. Red ticket 606. Oh, wait. Oh, Anita, you have to come up. Red 606. Come on up. Our next number is 640. 640.
All right, do you want to show Connie what you have here?
Our next one is by Zoom, and it's Keenan. Tiana. Tiana? Okay. I couldn't read it, I'm like, what is that? Our next number is 641. 641. Okay, our next number is 611. 611. Okay, next number 609. 609. And we have one by Zoom. Emily. Our next number is 586. 586. So the next one is by Zoom and it says Claudette. Number 605. 605. On up. Number 624. 624. Anybody have number 624? Okay. Number 634. 634. Number 591. Red ticket 591. Number 598. 598.
Congrats.
Okay, number 592. Red ticket 592. So we don't have any more purses, but we do have 2 more gift bags, so we're going to do that. So number 581. 581. You're holding out the purse, right? I didn't get any, so you still get something. Okay, so yeah, you got and one of them is Kathy by Zoom. Kathy by Zoom. All right. So that's the prizes, but some of the women still get swag bags. But before I get to that, I just want to say a few things. So I just want to remind all of you that if you're on Zoom, you can pick up your prizes at your participating libraries and your swag bags. And obviously in person, you got your prizes, so you're all set there. I want to thank all the speakers that were able to make it today. Fantastic information, and we'll be providing on our Facebook page as well. We'll be sharing with Tate Public Library and Midland Public Library the information. The entire session was live today, and so you can go on our Facebook and share so that you can provide information to your friends and family that could not come today. As well, it goes without saying that it is the generosity of our community, the organizations and local businesses that makes it possible to give such a wonderful day, the prizes and gifts for all of you. So we should applaud all of them. We are also thankful at the libraries for the strong support from, first, our board members for permitting us to think outside the box and hosting this day for all you amazing women. So we should also applaud them. I want to say thank you to my staff, Jen, and everyone for organizing, decorating, Pat, Anne. So again, thank you and applaud. Ladies, you are all fabulous, and we thank all of you for attending. You should applaud yourselves. Because this is the first step towards taking care of each and every one of ourselves. Thank you for making International Women's Day 2022 such a great success. Please mark your calendars for 2023. It will be Wednesday, March the 8th. So we'll be hitting up the speakers for then, and we'll be announcing that. So now, for the swag bags. I'll name your names, and if you can please just put your hands up, and the staff will distribute them.
Should I finish
okay?
this now? Yeah, because I don't.